There comes a moment in life when the body begins to speak more clearly than it ever did in youth. It whispers at first, quietly pointing to the tension in the knees when you stand up too fast, or to the slight trembling that wasn't there before when you climb a staircase. And then, almost without warning, a louder truth appears. Your legs are no longer responding the way they once did. Strength that used to be taken for granted now comes with effort. Stability that once felt automatic now demands awareness. And the question arises silently but powerfully, what if you could slow this decline? What if the path to stronger, more resilient legs wasn't found in a drastic lifestyle overhaul, but in something as simple and accessible as the food you choose to place on your plate? The ancient Stoics believed that the body was not an obstacle but an instrument. They taught that caring for it was not indulgence, but responsibility. Marcus Aurelius wrote that what harms the hive harms the bee, and what harms the body harms the mind. Strength was not merely physical, nor was weakness. To them, maintaining a capable body was part of living with virtue, discipline, clarity, and intention. Even though they lived centuries before modern nutritional science, they deeply understood that what you consume shapes not only your flesh, but your capacity to act in the world. And so the question becomes even more important. Can the foods you eat today help you avoid weak legs tomorrow? Imagine for a moment that your legs are more than limbs. Imagine that they are your foundation, the pillars that carry you through the decades. Without them, independence fades. With them, your life expands. Every step you take, every movement you make, every place you go depends on the silent work of your legs. And yet, as people age, these foundations often weaken long before the mind or the spirit does. But what if the decline isn't inevitable? What if strength can be supported from the inside out, starting with foods that nourish the muscles, protect the bones, support blood flow, and reduce the inflammation that steals mobility? Before exploring these foods, it's necessary to understand a deeper truth. Weakness does not begin in the legs. It begins in the choices made long before weakness appears. Stoicism teaches that the quality of your actions today determines the quality of your life tomorrow. And nowhere is this more evident than in the physical body. Your legs aren't just failing because of age. They are failing because the world has shifted your diet away from what the body truly needs. The modern lifestyle leads to foods that inflame rather than heal, that weaken rather than strengthen, that accelerate aging rather than support longevity. But the body, resilient as it is, can change its trajectory if you give it the tools to rebuild. There is a quiet power in knowing that something as ordinary as food can influence something as vital as leg strength. Most people expect exercises, stretches, or training routines, and yes, these are essential. But what few realize is that without the right nutrients, the muscles cannot fully recover, the bones cannot regenerate, and the nerves cannot fire with the precision needed to maintain balance. The foods you choose are either bricks reinforcing your foundation or cracks forming beneath your feet. And this understanding, simple yet profound, represents the heart of this journey. But why food? Why is nutrition so decisive when it comes to leg strength? It is because your legs are more than muscle mass. They are a complex system of fibers, vessels, bones, and nerves. Muscles require protein to repair microscopic tears created through everyday use. Bones require minerals to maintain density, especially as age naturally reduces it. Blood flow requires specific nutrients to deliver oxygen and remove waste. And inflammation, the silent thief of mobility, requires anti-inflammatory compounds to be kept at bay. Without this orchestration, even the strongest legs begin to fail. But with it, even aging legs can regain power, stability, and confidence. The Stoics believed in the discipline of preparation. They believed that the wise person strengthens himself before crisis, knowing that the moment of need will come. Weak legs may not seem like a crisis when they first appear, but over time they can become the unseen cause of lost independence, falls, pain, or social withdrawal. The wise man does not wait for this moment. He acts now, while choice is still in his hands. And that is exactly why learning about the foods that prevent weak legs is not trivial or optional. It is an act of strength, of self-respect, and of personal responsibility. To truly understand the importance of these foods, imagine two futures. In the first, you wake up years from now struggling to stand up from a chair, feeling unstable when getting out of bed, or avoiding stairs because they feel like climbing a mountain. You depend on others more than you wish. You feel frustration, maybe even embarrassment. Your world becomes smaller, not because your mind wants it, but because your legs cannot carry you where you want to go. In the second future, you rise with steady legs. You walk with confidence, you move with purpose. Your steps are not merely motions but expressions of vitality. You are not limited by fear of falling or lack of strength. Your world remains open because your foundation remains strong. Both futures are possible. The difference begins with choices you make today, choices that include the foods you incorporate into your diet. There is also something profoundly empowering about taking control of your physical strength through simple, consistent habits. You are not required to change everything overnight. You are not required to become a nutrition expert. The Stoics reminded us that greatness is built through small, deliberate actions carried out with discipline. And so, the first step is simply awareness. Awareness that food is medicine. Awareness that nourishment is not accidental. Awareness that your legs can be strengthened not only by movement, but also through the wisdom of what you choose to consume. You may be wondering, what exactly are these foods? How can they make such a difference? Why do they matter so much? And what happens when they are missing from your diet? Curiosity is the spark that opens the door to understanding. When strong food choices are combined with a strong mindset, the potential for transformation becomes enormous. Each food you will learn about has a reason, a purpose, a proven effect on muscle strength, bone density, inflammation control, or circulation. Together, they form a natural strategy for preventing weakness before it begins. But before naming them, it is important to enter the right frame of mind. The Stoic approach is not about luxury, indulgence, or emotional eating. It is about fuel. It is about discipline. It is about choosing what serves you rather than what immediately gratifies you. The foods that support strong legs are not complicated or exotic. They are simple. They are accessible. They are powerful. And they require nothing from you except consistency. Imagine yourself sitting at your table, not just eating, but choosing deliberately. You are not feeding cravings. You are feeding strength. You are not reacting to hunger. You are building resilience. This shift in mentality is the foundation on which the physical transformation is built. And once this mindset is in place, the foods themselves begin to reveal their importance. As you move forward through this journey, consider the deeper meaning behind each choice. Strong legs represent more than mobility. They represent autonomy. They represent dignity. They represent the ability to continue living life on your own terms. Weak legs symbolize dependence, vulnerability, and the erosion of freedom. The Stoics fought against anything that threatened their inner or outer strength. Today you have the opportunity to follow that same path, beginning with the very thing you put into your body. If you wish to continue this journey of strengthening your legs through Stoic wisdom and science-backed nutrition, make sure to stay with this video until the end. And before we move to the next stage, remember to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the remaining steps of this powerful process. There is a moment in every person's life when they begin to understand that strength does not disappear in a single day. It fades gradually, silently, almost imperceptibly, until one morning you notice your legs don't respond with the same speed, the same precision, or the same reliability. Weakness reveals itself in small ways first: a loss of power when rising from a chair, a subtle imbalance when turning too quickly, a pressure in the knees that wasn't there before. And as these small signals appear, many people simply accept them as part of aging. But the Stoics never accepted decline as fate. They accepted only what was beyond their control. Everything else was an opportunity to act. This is why understanding the influence of food on leg strength is so essential. Not because food is a miracle, but because it is one of the few areas where action is entirely in your hands. You choose what enters your body. You decide how you fuel the system that carries you through the world. And these decisions accumulate over time, building either stronger foundations or weaker ones. In this next stage of our journey, we begin to uncover the foods that play a direct role in preventing weak legs. They are not trends, they are not fads, and they are not complicated. They are the building blocks of muscle, bone, circulation, and recovery. They are the quiet allies working in your favor long before weakness can take hold. Consider the idea that your legs are the engine of your independence. Without them, even simple pleasures become challenges. Walking through a store, standing in the kitchen, entering a car, visiting a friend. Independence is not abstract, it is physical. And that physical independence rests on the strength of your legs. Muscles, however, cannot exist without fuel. They rely on nutrients that repair, regenerate, and energize. Bones need minerals that maintain density and prevent fractures. Blood vessels need compounds that allow healthy flow. And nerves depend on vitamins that maintain communication between brain and muscle. Each of the foods you will learn about exists to support these biological needs. The first category of foods that support strong legs are those that fuel muscle recovery and growth. Even if you are not lifting weights or training intensely, your muscles still need protein every single day to rebuild the microscopic fibers that naturally break down through movement. Without adequate intake, the body slowly cannibalizes its own muscle tissue. This is why older adults experience accelerated muscle loss known as sarcopenia. But sarcopenia is not destiny. It is a nutritional and lifestyle problem. Muscles thrive on amino acids, the building blocks of strength. When you understand this, your relationship with food changes. You stop eating simply to satisfy hunger and begin eating to maintain capability. Another type of food essential for preventing weak legs is rich in minerals that support bone density. Bones may seem solid and unchanging, but they are living structures constantly rebuilding themselves. They require calcium and magnesium, but even more importantly, they require the nutrients that help those minerals be absorbed effectively. Without this synergy, bones weaken, joints strain, and legs lose stability. The Stoics often spoke of foundation. Standing firm, they said, begins with having ground beneath you that does not crumble. Your bones are that ground, and the foods that strengthen them give you the literal ability to stand firm in the world. Inflammation is also one of the greatest enemies of leg strength. It may begin subtly, manifesting as stiffness in the morning or soreness after even mild activity. But chronic inflammation slowly eats away at joint function, muscle recovery, and overall mobility. Many modern foods contribute to this inflammation without people realizing it. But the foods that counteract inflammation do the opposite. They calm the internal fires that weaken your foundation. They help your legs stay supple, strong, and capable of movement without pain. When inflammation decreases, mobility increases. When mobility increases, strength naturally follows. Equally important are foods that support circulation. Blood flow is what carries oxygen, nutrients, and energy to the muscles. Without healthy circulation, even strong muscles feel weak. They tire quickly, they cramp, they tremble under pressure. As people age, circulation becomes slower and less efficient, but certain foods support vessel health, improve oxygen delivery, and increase endurance. They help your legs work longer and recover faster. The Stoics valued movement, not as exercise for appearance, but as a duty. A person must be capable of fulfilling their responsibilities. Your legs cannot do that without proper blood flow, and blood flow depends heavily on what you choose to consume. These categories of food form a comprehensive system for supporting strong legs. But before we name the specific foods, it is important to understand the mindset that allows this system to work. In the modern world, food decisions are often emotional or impulsive. People eat what is convenient, what is familiar, or what gives temporary comfort. But strong legs do not come from convenience or indulgence. They come from discipline. They come from intentional choices made day after day. The Stoics taught that discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you can become. And when applied to food, discipline becomes the difference between weak legs and strong ones. Imagine for a moment that your next meal is not just a meal. It is a reinforcement, a restoration, a strategic choice that determines how you will walk tomorrow, how you will stand a month from now, how you will move a year from now. Most people do not think this way, and that is precisely why so many experience weak legs as the years pass. But when you adopt this mindset, suddenly your choices become clearer. You are not choosing food for taste alone. You are choosing for strength, capability, and longevity. You may also wonder whether foods can truly make such a significant difference. The truth is that they already do. Every muscle contraction requires energy produced from nutrients you consume. Every bone cell is built from minerals absorbed from food. Every blood vessel is influenced by compounds that either support or damage its lining. Every nerve that communicates with your legs depends on vitamins delivered through your diet. Food is not supplemental. It is foundational. And when you choose foods that nourish rather than deplete, the difference becomes unmistakable. Now consider how these foods interact with your daily life. Strong legs give you the confidence to move freely. They reduce the risk of falls, one of the most common and dangerous events for older adults. They protect your knees, hips, and ankles from strain. They allow you to continue doing the activities you enjoy, whether it is walking, gardening, traveling, visiting family, or simply maintaining independence. Weak legs, on the other hand, create hesitation. They slow you down. They make you cautious. They steal your freedom without you noticing. And when freedom is lost, quality of life diminishes. This is why preventing weak legs is not just a physical priority. It is a philosophical one. Imagine an elderly person who can still walk briskly, climb stairs easily, stand for long periods, and move without fear. That person is not simply lucky. They are someone who made consistent choices that preserved their strength. And imagine another person of the same age who struggles with every movement. The difference between these two individuals represents the difference that food, mindset, and discipline can make. The Stoics would not say that misfortune determines destiny. They would say that preparation does. Now picture yourself standing years from now, balanced, upright, strong. You feel the weight of your body supported evenly across your legs. You feel no trembling, no weakness, no fear. Instead, you feel capable. This future is not a dream. It is the natural result of understanding the foods that support strong legs and incorporating them into your life with patience and commitment. In the next stage of this journey, we will begin exploring each of the foods that support leg strength in detail. You will understand why each food matters, what it does inside the body, and how it contributes to preventing weakness. You will understand the science, but you will also understand the philosophy behind choosing wisely. And as you learn, you will be able to apply this knowledge immediately, beginning the transformation of your legs from the inside out. If you want to continue this process of strengthening your foundation and discovering the foods that can preserve your independence for years to come, make sure you are subscribed to the channel so you do not miss the next part of this journey. Most people believe that strong legs are simply a matter of training, repetition, and physical discipline. But the ancient Stoics understood that true strength is born from the integration between body, mind, and the daily choices that shape both. They understood that everything we feed within ourselves, whether a thought, an emotion, or a nutrient, becomes part of who we are and directly influences the way we move through the world. If a person feeds their mind with weakness, they manifest weakness. If they feed their body with poor choices, the body responds with fatigue, instability, and loss of vitality. That is why, when we talk about avoiding weak legs and building a solid foundation for life, we are not just discussing muscles, but an entire philosophy of internal and external strengthening. Throughout this video, we have already explored foods that strategically help restore strength, improve endurance, and recover the vitality of the legs. But now we step into a deeper part of the journey. Because strength is not merely physical performance. Strength is what allows a human being to carry their burdens, walk over difficult terrain, resist when everything around them pressures them to give up, and the legs, both literally and symbolically, are what sustain that journey. When they fail, everything else fails. When neglected, the entire structure loses stability. Stoicism teaches us to examine the foundation before examining the peak, because nothing grand remains standing if its base is fragile. In this block, we will dive even deeper into the relationship between nutrition, structural strength, and the way these food choices shape your ability to resist the challenges of time, aging, daily stress, and the modern temptations of comfort. We will analyze, with a blend of philosophical depth and practical clarity, why certain foods are essential for avoiding weakness in the legs and how they fit within a Stoic-inspired approach to life. Imagine someone who begins to notice that, over the years, their legs give way more easily. Climbing stairs becomes slower, walking long distances is no longer simple, and standing up after long periods of sitting requires greater effort. At first, this person blames age, a busy schedule, or lack of exercise. But they rarely acknowledge a fundamental truth. Weakness does not appear suddenly. It is built gradually, daily, through small neglected habits. Just as wisdom is built through consistent small virtues, the strength of your legs is built through micro-decisions about what you put on your plate. The Stoics did not waste energy on what they couldn't control, but they were extremely disciplined about what was within their control. And one of the things every person controls is their diet. Even with limited resources, difficult times, or external constraints, there is always some degree of choice regarding how to nourish the body. And this is precisely what separates those who age with vigor from those who age in decline. If you want to avoid weak legs, you must understand that each of the foods presented in this video is not just a nutritional component, but a symbol of inner discipline, strategic care, and responsibility for your own strength. Now let's deepen the understanding of how these foods affect the body, exploring how they act on the muscles, nerves, and joints of the legs. It is especially important to understand the relationship between micronutrients, muscle recovery, protein synthesis, bone stabilization, and blood flow improvement, because these factors together determine your functional longevity. The first essential point is muscle synthesis. Our legs contain some of the largest muscle groups in the body: the quadriceps, glutes, hamstrings, and calves. For these muscles to function with power, explosiveness, and endurance, they need nutrients that not only provide energy, but also allow for constant repair and rebuilding of muscle fibers. This goes far beyond protein intake. It involves magnesium, potassium, B vitamins, antioxidants, and specific fatty acids. Each food mentioned carries a unique combination of these elements. Strength is not built from a single nutrient, but from the synergy between them. Just as Seneca said, "Nothing strong stands alone. Strength is born from harmony." The second point is circulation. Weakness in the legs is often linked to poor blood circulation, metabolic waste buildup, and insufficient oxygenation. Foods rich in natural nitrates, antioxidants, and anti-inflammatory compounds widen blood vessels, improve oxygen transport, and increase muscular endurance, especially during prolonged activity. In other words, they not only prevent weakness, but delay fatigue, allowing the legs to withstand more effort with less strain. The third point is bone health. Without a strong skeletal structure, no amount of muscle strength can compensate. The combination of calcium, vitamin D, vitamin K2, phosphorus, and specific proteins is responsible for maintaining bone density throughout life. Many of the foods that strengthen the legs also support this structural foundation, helping maintain posture, prevent falls, and increase stability. The fourth point is inflammation reduction. Weak legs are not always the result of poor training or nutrition. Often they are the consequence of silent inflammation. Swelling, joint pain, morning stiffness, and the sensation of heavy legs are clear signs that something is impairing mobility. Natural anti-inflammatory foods help counteract this process, restoring lightness and fluidity to movement. But now we must go beyond the nutritional aspects. This block is especially important because it connects all of this to the Stoic mindset, showing that the way you eat reflects who you choose to be. For the Stoics, the body was an instrument. They did not seek strength for vanity, but for functionality. A strong, disciplined, and balanced person should be able to carry their own life without relying on emotional or physical crutches. And when the legs become too weak, autonomy begins to fade. Stoicism deeply values autonomy. Discipline in eating is a direct practice of the virtue of temperance. Avoiding excess, choosing what is useful, resisting immediate impulses, and planning for long-term strength are behaviors that, when applied to your diet, transform both the body and the spirit. Every time you choose a food that strengthens your legs and health, you are practicing that virtue. Another Stoic aspect is resilience. Our bodies are constantly challenged by time, external circumstances, unexpected events, and everything beyond our control. But you decide if you want to age fragile or resilient. You decide if you want to walk through life with firmness or hesitation, and that decision manifests in how you prepare for the future, including strengthening the legs that support your journey, both literally and symbolically. The Stoics also spoke often about living in accordance with nature. This includes a nutrition that respects natural cycles, whole foods, non-artificial choices, and ingredients that provide the body with exactly what it needs to function in its best form. Many of the foods that strengthen the legs are exactly that: natural, complete, and aligned with the natural order. They do not promise instant results. They promise real ones. Now imagine living the next years with strong, stable, and reliable legs. Imagine walking long distances without pain. Imagine climbing stairs without difficulty. Imagine performing activities without limitations. Imagine feeling your body as an ally, not an obstacle. This vision is not utopian. It is the direct result of consistent choices aligned with Stoicism and nutritional science. All the foods mentioned so far are not mere complements. They are central tools for avoiding muscle weakness, improving performance, repairing tissues, increasing energy, and building a foundation that will not be fragile again. But everything depends on your decision to follow this path, because as Epictetus said, no one becomes strong by merely wishing. Strength is conquered through daily action. And before we conclude this block, it is important to reinforce that no true strength exists without consistency. Eating one beneficial food once will not transform your legs, just as practicing a single virtue does not make someone a stoic. Everything is repetition, habit, and intention. The more you apply these choices, the more your body responds. If this video is helping you build a stronger, more complete life aligned with Stoic principles, stay with us. The next block will bring the conclusion, the final integration of ideas and insights that will transform not only your body, but your long-term mindset. There are moments in life when the truth we've been avoiding finally stands in front of us, demanding to be seen, not gently, not softly, but with the full weight of everything we've ignored. And when a woman reaches that point, when she finally faces the reality of her emotional patterns, her disappointments, her wounds, and her desires, it's not a breakdown. It's a breakthrough that was waiting for her all along. But breakthroughs rarely look clean. They are messy, intense, and often terrifying. And yet, they are the exact moments where everything begins to shift. Imagine her standing in the quiet aftermath of another argument, another misunderstanding, another moment where she felt unseen. The room is still, but inside her, everything feels loud. Her hands tremble slightly, not from fear, but from the weight of finally recognizing something she had been running from. She wasn't asking for too much. She was settling for too little. And in that realization, the world doesn't collapse. It expands. She sits alone, breathing deeply, feeling a new sense of clarity spreading inside her. Not the clarity that appears suddenly and magically, but the kind that rises like the sun, slow, steady, impossible to stop. And she begins asking herself the question she had avoided for years. Why have I tolerated this dynamic? Why have I dimmed myself to fit places where I was never meant to belong? Why have I convinced myself that love must be earned instead of expressed? When did I start believing that emotional crumbs were the best I could get? These questions are not accusations. They are awakenings. And awakenings require courage. Her mind takes her back to the earliest moments where she learned to stay quiet instead of speaking up, where she learned to seek validation instead of expressing her truth, where she learned that being low maintenance made her easier to love. No one told her explicitly, but the world has a way of shaping a woman's emotional expectations long before she realizes she has the power to reshape them. And as she reflects, something remarkable happens. She stops blaming others. She stops blaming him. She stops blaming past relationships. Instead, she begins reclaiming something she had forgotten she possessed, her agency, the quiet, steady force inside every woman that whispers, "You can choose differently." She rises from her seat, walks toward the mirror and studies the face staring back. Her eyes are tired, but there's a fire behind them that wasn't there before. A fire born not from anger, but from rediscovery. That fire transforms her posture. Her breathing changes. Her energy shifts. She sees a new version of herself emerging, one who understands that emotional boundaries are not walls. They are doors. Doors she now gets to control. For the first time, she realizes that it's not about changing him. It's about choosing her emotional health, her peace, her identity, her voice. And that subtle shift becomes the catalyst for everything that follows. The next day, when he comes home, she doesn't initiate the conversation. She doesn't push for clarity. She doesn't argue. She simply listens, not to him, but to herself. She pays attention to her own reactions, her own impulses, her own intuition. And what she discovers is both subtle and profound. She no longer feels the need to chase emotional breadcrumbs. When he speaks, she hears the familiar patterns, the promises, the justifications, the excuses. But something inside her reacts differently, not with frustration, not with exhaustion, but with certainty. She understands his words, but for the first time they do not sway her. She feels grounded, centered, strong, and that inner stability radiates through everything she says. "I hear you," she tells him calmly, "but I'm not willing to repeat the same loop anymore." He pauses, surprised. This is not the emotional reaction he expected. This is not the cycle he is used to. She isn't pleading, arguing, or defending. She is simply stating her truth, and the truth is powerful in its simplicity. He tries to re-engage the old dynamic, getting louder, getting softer, switching tones, switching strategies, but the connection to those patterns inside her has been severed, not by anger, but by growth, and he can feel it, not because she is attacking him, but because she has stopped abandoning herself. That is the moment every woman ultimately reaches when she steps into her full emotional strength, when the old patterns stop working, because she's no longer operating from the same emotional place. Her calm becomes the loudest message she has ever delivered, and ironically, it is that calm, not the arguments, that makes him realize the gravity of the situation. For the first time, he senses that he might lose her, not because she is threatening to leave, but because she has finally returned to herself. She doesn't storm out. She doesn't issue ultimatums. She simply sets boundaries from a place of certainty. "I'm choosing myself now," she says internally, even if she doesn't voice it aloud. In the following days, something extraordinary happens. She rediscovers the beauty in silence, the power of being alone, the peace that comes from emotional independence. She starts waking up earlier, taking care of herself in small but meaningful ways, drinking water mindfully, stretching in the morning, journaling, reading, reconnecting with friends, smiling more, laughing at things she once ignored, rebuilding her internal world piece by piece. And with each step, she becomes more aware of the truth. She had spent so much time trying to be chosen that she forgot the most important choice of all, choosing the life she actually wants. Her energy shifts. Her voice becomes clearer. Her walk becomes more confident. And somehow, without even trying, she becomes more attractive. Not because of physical changes, but because self-respect is magnetic. Emotional alignment is magnetic. Women who reclaim themselves carry an aura that cannot be faked. And he feels the shift immediately. Suddenly, he becomes attentive, present, curious. He starts sending longer messages, asking deeper questions, trying harder, but she sees the truth now. His efforts are reactive, not transformative. He's not becoming better, he's becoming afraid. She doesn't shame him, she doesn't criticize him. She simply recognizes that the emotional dynamic she once participated in no longer fits who she is becoming. One afternoon, while sitting alone in a cafe, she feels something stirring inside her. It's not sadness, it's not fear, it's a quiet form of liberation, a feeling she hadn't felt in years. Hope, not the naive kind that dreams someone else will change, but the mature kind that comes from realizing she has changed. She takes a deep breath and asks herself the question she had avoided for far too long. What kind of love do I truly want to experience? Not the kind that keeps her anxious, not the kind that leaves her guessing, not the kind that drains her spirit. She wants a love that supports her growth, not stalls it. A love based on mutual respect, not emotional inconsistency. A love that sees her fully, not only when convenient. This is not about rejecting him, it's about accepting herself. And as she sits there, surrounded by soft music and the hum of conversations around her, she realizes the next step is not dramatic. It is simply honest. She goes home, sits across from him, and speaks with a clarity that only growth can produce. She doesn't blame him. She doesn't list grievances. Instead, she expresses something far more powerful. "I'm choosing a life where my emotional well-being comes first." There is silence. He doesn't know what to say. He senses that this moment is not about winning her back. It's about whether he is willing to grow alongside her. And in that silence, she feels no guilt, only peace. Because this time, she is not walking away from him. She is walking toward herself. And that is the most profound transformation any woman can undergo. The moment she stops living in emotional survival mode and begins living in emotional freedom. The moment she stops shrinking to fit someone else's comfort zone. The moment she stops accepting confusion as connection. The moment she stops believing that love must be chaotic to feel passionate. She breathes deeply, stands tall, and steps into a new chapter. One where she writes the rules, where she honors her emotional needs, where she values her inner world, and where she finally demands the respect she always deserved. And as she moves forward, she carries a message to every woman who has ever felt unseen. You are allowed to choose yourself. You are allowed to honor your emotional truth. You are allowed to break cycles that don't serve you. You are allowed to rise. Because when a woman remembers her worth, the entire trajectory of her life changes. Not slowly, not quietly, but powerfully, permanently, and beautifully.